Alright, I've had a couple of people asking me how I did the leisure battery setup on this car for the camper. As far as leisure battery or second battery systems go, it's pretty simple. So I thought I'd just do a quick run through about how I did it. You can do it loads of different ways, depending on what you're going to be doing with the car or the van. But this way seemed probably the most cost effective for me and did what I needed to do, really. I guess the first thing is, what do I actually have? So we've got 240 volt outlet on the rear, run off an inverter, and we have the leisure battery ports here, which is just a cigarette port, and a couple of USB ports, and you can turn that on and see the voltage on the second battery there. I also fitted in behind the seats on both sides there's the same panel again with the switch. You can turn this socket on and off, cigarette socket, and another USB point with two USBs in it. And I've also got a water pump running off that battery as well. So everything you're using is not connected to the main vehicle battery, so there's no problems with running the main vehicle battery down and not being able to get the vehicle started. So we'll start underneath the bonnet, then I'll work my way front to back so you can see how I've wired this all up. A friend of mine broke my bonnet protector for me, ironically not protecting anything anymore. Alright, this is the feed to the second battery, taken off the positive side of one of the front batteries. These are both linked together, so it's basically just one big battery, so it doesn't matter if you come off this side or if you come off this side. Straight into a fuse. This is important because you don't want this wire running down your chassis to the back battery and being unprotected, because if it shorts out anywhere it'll just burn up and could set your car on fire, which wouldn't be good. So I've got a battery, or I've got a fuse there, 100 amp fuse. Should be sufficient for that cable. So this wire then runs into this split. Oh, I must have ran the neutral down too. Okay, so I've ran a ground back there as well, so I'm not pulling the ground off the vehicle chassis, which is better, which is probably why I did that. So ran it into this conduit, which then runs down. So it comes down from the engine bay onto here, onto the chassis, runs along, clipped onto the brake pipes and the fuel pipes, along here. This is where I decided to run it into the vehicle. This is probably the easiest place to do it on a Pajero, because inside the floor pan there's two wee hatches, so I was able just to come through here. I can't remember if there was a bung there already. There might have been, and that had nothing to do with me. In here, so I tucked the conduit in through the steelwork as well to protect the cables as they're coming into the car. So in these Mark II Pajeros there's hatches under each rear seat, or the middle row of seats, and there's a jack in this one. But also that's where my cables come up through. They're in there. You can fold these seats up. So cables coming in through here into some more conduit and running up onto what I'm going to call this the leisure battery. It's not technically a leisure battery, it's just a starting battery. But I had it and it's a fairly big capacity and it runs okay for what I use it for. I think these are 10mm cables, not sure. So they run up, and the neutral, or the ground, goes on to the ground of the second battery, and the power wire comes into the split charge relay, which has come off. So a split charge relay, or a voltage sensitive relay, basically is a heavy switch that connects the front battery, which is this brown one, to the rear battery, which is this black one, runs through to here, and it currently is disconnected because the voltage of the main battery is at resting voltage. Whenever I start the engine, that will detect the voltage of the alternator, and then that closes this contact, which allows charge to go through to the back battery. Very simple, very effective. It means if the back battery is being used and the engine's off, it's disconnected from the front and it can't run your front battery down. And then when you start the engine to drive anywhere, this closes and charges the rear battery. So coming off the rear battery, I'm running on to a 125 amp maxi fuse. That fuse then protects the inverter. This is a 3000 watt Durite inverter. It's fed, there's a ground running across to the battery, and obviously the power's coming from the battery there. It does have the capability of a remote switch, which I may fit in the future, but for now I can just switch it on and off here. So if I switch it on now, it'll power up. It sends power on this cable. Is just basically a small extension lead to that socket at the rear, and then I've put another small power point here, just if you wanted to plug a phone in or anything down the side when the door is open, you can do that. So with that inverter powered on now, this socket's live. You can run whatever you want off there, up to 2000 watts, 2500 watts. I would probably need a bigger battery to run that inverter full current, but it's fine for pretty much everything that I need to run. It really doesn't use much power either. I've been running the fridge off it, like just a normal household fridge, 240 volt fridge. It really doesn't use much power, especially, you know, when it's on idle. It probably uses a fraction of an amp. I still have to tidy the wiring up for the 12 volt side, but this is the 12 volt fuse box fed from the second battery, and these are different circuits. We have one for the sockets here, probably one for the sockets on the other side, one for the water pump, and then the power panel at the back is all run off 12 volt, which is the second battery. Again, you're not taking any power from the main vehicle battery, so if this all runs down, you can still start the vehicle and charge it back up. So the pump for the water is underneath this. It's just a cheap 12 volt water pump. There's a filter to filter the water coming from the water tank, and that's just the back of those electrical outlets on the switch. And then there's the switch for the pump here. Managed to get a water tank that fitted in there, and the footwell behind the driver's seat, which is quite handy. And there's just the outlet pipe there, runs up underneath the seat through there and into the pump. Obviously space is not plentiful in a long wheelbase 4x4, and this is really all I had to work with for putting suitable electrics in here, and then those small pieces down the sides. But I think it works pretty good. Does everything I need it to do. Could probably upgrade that to a leisure battery someday if I feel the need, but it works fine as it is. So that is basically it. I did say it was quite a simple system, and it is. It's definitely better having a second battery there so that you don't ever flatten these, because that would be quite annoying when you go to leave and you can't get the car started. I do have a few more videos to do in this car. I finally got some gauges in for the exhaust gas temperature, boost sensor, oil temperature sensor and water temperature sensor. I'd like to get those all fitted as well. There'll be another few videos coming up, but for now that's going to be the end for this one. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.